Okay guys, we're back again with another build video requested by a lot of people to start getting some of these stuff out there so people can see what type of builds I'm using here inside most of my PvP stuff. Alright, so what I have today is what I call the Seeker build. The Seeker build is a set that utilizes primarily the Bow of the Sentry. And as you can see here, we have a helmet, we have a boots, we have a bracers, and we have a leggings. We're also using Bloodspawn pal drones, air set, and some Shadow Walker on top of this as well. And on our off bar here, we are using just a simple greatsword here, Hunting's Rage. If I had the ability to, I would make this a master's two-hander, but unfortunately that does cost a bit. So, what this primarily is using is the Seeker set, or the Sentry, I should say. And what we're doing here is trying to find people inside of hiding in PvP. I do recommend that when you do this, you do not worry about the class so much. You can vary this build in multiple ways. Okay, I'm doing it on the DK. It probably is better on a Nightblade or some of these other builds out there. However, I'm a DK. I primarily play DK, so that's what we're going with, okay? So, why is this so great here? Well, if you take a look at the 5-piece bonus, we're using the damage dealt to targets increased by 20%. Stealth detection radius is increased by 20%. Now, the damage increase, yeah, it's kind of nice, but you're not going to have people stay into stealth, right? Well, kind of, sort of. When you deal with a Nightblade, a lot of them try to keep themselves into stealth, and it's kind of funny the amount of Nightblades I've found with this set that have just sat there and tried to keep themselves, you know, they keep on spamming Shadow Cloak over and over again, despite the fact that I keep on plicking them off with arrows. It's absolutely gorgeous in the way it works. We're using this for a bit of weapon damage here, and we're also using the Bloodspawn here and the Jack of the Air to give us stamina recovery. Now, we take a look at our stats. We're about 18 on our stamina, and about 19 on our health. Our stamina recovery, using drink again. Oh, sorry, we're actually not using drink, but typically I will use drink with this here. We're using about 1100 stamina recovery, and a pretty average weapon damage and weapon critical to this. If we use rally here, you can see that we go up at least into the 2284 range. Now, I do not recommend this build to go off and gank on your own. I do recommend this as a group build, but what you want to primarily have on your bar here is Radiant Magelight. And that's pretty much it, okay? The reason you're doing this build is to find people. And the great thing with Radiant Magelight is it will increase your invisibility, or it'll increase your range to see invisible enemies, and prevents you from being stunned, and also reduces your damage from stealth attacks by 56%. Now, a lot of Nightblades will come in and get spotted, and then try to attack you when they spot them. And the Radiant Magelight basically ignores, it breaks any of their stuns that they put on you, reduces their damage. So the more they stealth and try to hit you, the more that they're just going to be like nerfing themselves on the damage. In addition to that, I also like to go with Igneous Shield, because any damage shield that you put on top of your character is going to basically ignore any critical chance that they have. Until that damage shield is down, that's going to basically make it so that you can't be crit on. So usually I'll put on Igneous Shield with this Radiant Magelight when I'm trying to find somebody, and have like an extensive amount of search radius, and also have a damage shield. So that plus that makes it a lot harder for a lot of these Nightblades to be hitting you. Now, the other things I like to put on with this is, of course, Venom Arrow, simply for an interrupt. Lethal Arrow, because if they're trying to get away, Lethal Arrow is one of those abilities, so if you see somebody and they don't get themselves out of line of sight and they just go back into stealth, Lethal Arrow will still hit as long as you've targeted them and started the fire animation. So that's one way you can pull them out of their stealth abilities. Green Dragon Blood, simply to give health back. Now, on the two-handed bar, I like to still have critical. I like to put critical rush on this. Critical rush will let us go in quickly. If they've gone into stealth, critical rush will still execute and still go in and kill and hit that person, despite the fact that they've gone into stealth. The executioner, good way to keep low health ones down. It will also stack with the our critical Critical Rush, and also Wrecking Blow. Wrecking Blow I will use on this one as well, simply to toss them up in the air, get them stunned, get other people on top of this person while we're trying to kill them. Rally, simply because it gives extra major brutality and also helps us heal. Now, potions, I recommend going with detection potions. These are ones that you have to make inside of, here. There we go. This will increase your stealth radius by 20 meters for 40 seconds. Grants major sorcery and magicka. Really, the sorcery I'm not too concerned about, but the restoring magicka portion of it is very useful, especially if you're already spamming, you know, you've done this, you've done this. Look, we're already 29% of our magicka, especially because we're reducing 5% of it with the Radiant Magelight. That'll give us another boost of magicka on top of that, so we can use those abilities over and over again as they're trying to kill us. So with that, this increases our stealth detection radius by about 20 meters. Now, from what I've tested in previously, without, let's say we don't have Sentry up, and let's say we don't have Radiant Magelight up, you have about 10 meters of stealth detection. When you put on your bow like this, you're getting about 12 meters. When you put on your Radiant Magelight, this seems to go up to about 15 to 16 meters, okay? With this here, with the Panacea detection, I have seen this gone up to about 40 meters of detection because you're adding another 20 meters of detection on top of that. That is an insane amount of detection. You're going to be finding almost everyone who's trying to hide on you in PvP. If you see somebody over there and they're trying to hide inside the group, you're going to find them. I mean, I don't even use more than maybe 2 or 3 detection pots for like a major siege or something like that. And I'm spawning nightblades all over the place. I don't even have to pop one of these. I just have to simply make sure I'm looking in the direction that you're looking at the target. An important thing to remember is, let's say this little spider here is a nightblade. As soon as I have my back to it, you have no self-detection radius on it. They could be right behind you. You'd never know it. Important thing with this build is just keep moving around, looking in the directions that you want to look. A lot of them are not going to see you, especially if you're a medium armor like this. You can stealth for hours with the stamina here. So you can just keep on moving around here. Moving around here. Just keep on moving. You have a lot of stamina recovery. You have a lot of stamina to your character here. You're going to see them, and when you see them, they're not going to expect it. They're going to be like, what the hell is going on here? They're going to waste a lot of magicka trying to use stealth cloak. Now, there is weaknesses to this character build, because even with this health here, and even with food and all that other stuff, you are going to be low on health, and a lot of them are going to be able to use surprise attack over and over and over again. But if you're with groups, you're going to be fine, because a lot of people are going to be able to heal you. If you have your Igneous Shield up, you're going to be able to prevent a lot of their crits with that ability, and a lot of other people are going to be on top of that person as well. Their main objective, especially for a lot of Nightblade builds right now, is simply to hit and get out. They're looking to get a quick kill and get in and out of the build of their thing there, because they're glass cannon builds. They can't stand themselves to be hit, and they're basically using their stealth as their main way to stay alive. So you want to use that as you see fit. Now, this has other weaknesses as well. Like if you go against a Sork, another DK, certain Templars, I probably wouldn't recommend one-on-one-ing a lot of those guys. They're going to have a lot of abilities on top of you. If you are planning to go against them, I do recommend just simply rushing them as you need to. Use simply Lethal Arrow, a Meteor to go down on them quick, swap over, crit rush in, and then try getting a Wrecking Blow on them. That's going to be probably your best bet to take on a lot of those builds, because they're going to just come up and kill you if you're trying to sustain yourself up and you're all alone by yourself. Addition to that, I should also warn you as well. The Meteor here, make sure you only use this when you see needed. Meteor can be, let's say you're going against a one that's spamming that ability. Even though you can spot them, they can simply use their cloak to get themselves out of the Meteor. Even though you see it hit the ground, it's not actually hitting them. So use a Meteor, use it when you know that they can't get themselves out of there, when they're not going to stealth themselves up, or maybe when you can do a quick run with a Wrecking Blow, knock them off their feet, and then get a Meteor off right quick so they can't get themselves back in the cloak right away. That's usually what I recommend doing on that. But I tell you, this build is a lot of fun. I do recommend people take a look at it, because a lot of people have been taking a look at the Sentry Set as of late, and for me, I've been having a lot of fun running around with the groups and using this set. You might be able to find a better build for this as well. Like if you're using a Templar, Sork, or a Nightblade, yeah, I feel like a Nightblade might actually be able to use this a little bit better than I can. Simply using the Sentry Set and using their own Shadow Cloak to go around there, spotting enemies there before a lot of them can even realize that they've been spotted by the enemy. In addition to that, they also would have a bit more stamina recovery than the DK. But hey, I'm working with what I have here, and I hope this will help you guys find a little bit more you can do. A few other variations you can do with this as well. You can also go with the Dragon Leap ability, get on top of them as soon as possible. Corrosive Armor to reduce enemies' damage to you by 3%, and also give you a bit more damage. You can also go with something like a Burning Talons over on your two-handed line. So if you want to lock them down from getting away, that's another ability that you can use. And I wouldn't probably recommend anything under, except for maybe Extended Chains. But Extended Chains is kind of buggy in some way, the way it works at times. So I wouldn't recommend it on this build too much. You can also go with Evil Hunter under your Fighters Guild line, or Camel Hunter if you have that as well, and that will get most of those enemies down and defeated as soon as possible. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll come up with some more theme type builds a little